Welcome to Mind Body Monday, and it's really lovely to see you all here. And if you're catching the replay or the podcast, welcome. In today's session, you're going to learn about how exactly can just one mineral make such a phenomenal difference to your overall health, well-being, and longevity. Signs and deficiencies that may have gone unnoticed with this mineral. How much do you actually really need, and natural food forms. And if you can guess what mineral I'm talking about, go ahead and type in the chat. What do you think, which mineral can make such a difference to your health? And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and type this in the comments as well, because it will help keep the community guessing. So no one's yet typed it in the chat, so listen up. Here it comes. Yes, Millie, thank you. Millie let the cat out of the bag. Either she knew, because she's educated, aren't you, Millie? Or you read my email. I'm not sure which one was. Well, it's probably a combination of both. So just recently, I saw a 38-year-old young woman who consulted with me in my private practice, complaining of PMS, premenstrual syndrome, headaches, and a history of constipation. So as a practitioner of functional medicine, I'm always looking for simple and leveraged interventions. Simple, easy to follow, because part of my mandate is to make complex simple. Leveraged, meaning one intervention will address several health concerns all at the same time. So how exactly can just one mineral support overall health? And I'm going to come back to my patient shortly. So magnesium is that mineral that's the spotlight for today's Mind Body Monday. And it plays a role in over 300 different enzyme pathways and reactions in the body. Over 300. That's remarkable. It has many, many very important functions in our musculoskeletal system, muscle system, our nerve system, our brain, regulates blood pressure, our heart function, glucose regulation, immune system, DNA function, bone health, and the list goes on. There was a 2018 International Journal of Endocrinology who found that magnesium even had an important role to play in type 2 diabetes, dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. So that is so important. This is why I'm devoting a Mind Body Monday session to this key mineral. About 50% of Americans today are magnesium deficient. This is because of a deficiency in the diet, but also there are a number of lifestyle reasons, medications that influence that, food choices, etc. And I'll come back to certain medical conditions, and I'm going to cover that shortly. So what are some of the signs of deficiency of magnesium deficiency? Because magnesium is involved in so many systems in the body, therefore, a deficiency can contribute to a wide array of health conditions. And the key takeaway here is even a mild deficiency can show up as a condition or a sign or a symptom in the body. And it could include high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, migraines, osteoporosis, and fatigue. Research also shows it has a major role in lung function and asthma, and in chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's a very important mineral to make sure we get adequate amounts in our diet. And even a mild deficiency can show up as a loss of appetite, perhaps some nausea, fatigue, weakness or fatigue, muscle spasms or cramps. So many of my patients complain of muscle spasms or cramps at night, and it's such an easy fix. And it's a telltale warning sign, a little bit like that orange light on your car dashboard saying something is wrong. So by the time the muscles are cramping, there's pretty much a systemic magnesium deficiency, and it's an easy fix. And another mild symptom of mild magnesium deficiency could be heart arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats. So what causes a magnesium deficiency? There are a number of causes. I'm only going to cover 2 or 3 of those. And the first one is to really understand, where is magnesium mainly absorbed in the body? Magnesium is primarily absorbed in the digestive system, in the small and large intestine. So therefore, anybody with a digestive problem, conditions like IBS, SIBO, Crohn's, colitis, or any other chronic digestive issue, or an imbalance in the microbiome, may well have a magnesium deficiency, simply because this is the heart of the place where magnesium is absorbed. The second common cause is anyone taking certain medications like diuretics that influence how much electrolytes like potassium and, more importantly, magnesium in our case, are secreted released by the kidneys. So diuretics would cause the body to be more likely to be magnesium deficiency. A lot of my patients ask me, so if it's such a key mineral, now how do you test for it? Well, there are 3 main medical tests, and they all have their challenges. Hence, I use a slightly different test. So one is just a regular blood test where they look for serum magnesium. And here's the thing, 99% of the magnesium in our body is in our cells or in our tissues of our body, in our muscles, etc. Only 1%, less than 1%, is really in the blood, is in the blood. So taking a serum magnesium blood test is very unlikely it's going to be an accurate measure, because by the time there's even low levels in the blood, is pretty severe deficiency. So the other test is a urine magnesium excretion test, where there's a 24-hour urine collection, etc. But this is a little bit cumbersome and difficult to do. There are other tests, but they really become more complicated. What I do in my clinic is, again, looking to make things simple. I do a simple hair mineral analysis test. You take a teaspoon of hair from the head, send it off to a specialized lab, and get an entire report, not only of magnesium deficiency, but any mineral deficiency in the body. Let me share with you my screen for a moment, and you can get a look at this report so you can understand how informative it really is. So can you all see my screen? Just put up your hand if you can see my screen. Yes. So this is a sample of a hair mineral analysis. I'm looking over to the side because I've got 2 screens going. And the reference areas where the minerals in the body should be, and down here in the bottom are all the major minerals of the body: calcium, magnesium, and you can see this sample client is on the lower levels. Sodium, potassium, copper is far too elevated. We look at zinc, manganese, chromium, boron, etc. So these elements are very important. All these minerals are very important to get clear where they are, and they change. So every 6 months or so, I redo this with patients, making sure I keep them balanced. It takes the guesswork out of my work, so I can focus on giving them the right supplements and ensuring that they are bolstering their diet with the rich foods, rich in whatever they are deficient in. Now, another element here, while we're here on the hair mineral analysis, is looking at what's called toxic elements. These are heavy metals like lead, mercury, cadmium, and they are in our environment. They're very much also in our food supply. And these can block enzyme pathways in the body, and also block the body's ability to absorb nutrients like magnesium. So if someone is low in magnesium and they're high in certain heavy metals, which are toxic compounds, then I have a 2-pronged approach. One is to raise their magnesium levels through diet and supplements. 2 is to put them on a chelation or detoxification program to eliminate their heavy metals. So that's why this test, very simple, non-invasive, will give me a real bird's eye view of what really is going on in the body. And this way, I can get a window into how to help my patients in the best possible way. So since about half the patients coming into my clinic are probably magnesium deficient, I recommend that if the hair mineral analysis supports this and listening to their symptom picture supports this, then I recommend they add a magnesium supplement to their diet. Now, the key is there are over 11 different main forms of magnesium. People are always asking me, so which one should I take? Different magnesiums are good for different conditions. Even though most magnesium is absorbed in the gut, however, they influence the body's tissues in different ways. So, for example, for constipation, I'd recommend magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide helps to stimulate peristalsis, the movement of the colon, and if there's any sluggish bowel or constipation or traveling. I know when I travel, my sleep cycle is thrown off, my eating pattern is thrown off, and I take a couple of these capsules with me, and they just help to keep things regular while I travel. Muscle cramps is another common one that comes up, and this is a sign of magnesium deficiency. So there's another form of magnesium called magnesium glycinate. Now, this is very easily absorbed, which is especially helpful for people who have any digestive problems. It doesn't cause a loose stool like magnesium oxide would. So therefore, I'd recommend that magnesium glycinate, perhaps a combination with something called magnesium citrate, CITRATE. And those are sometimes sold as a combination. And that's great for cramps without causing diarrhea. And then a third common magnesium that I recommend in my practice is to help people with migraines and insomnia, or really to get deep restorative sleep. And there's another form of magnesium that I actually take myself as well called magnesium threonate, threonate, threonate. Now, this form of magnesium easily crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps to regulate sleep, REM cycles, and ensures a deeper restorative sleep. So these are the main forms of magnesium supplementation that I use. There are many others depending on the needs. Now before I jump into some natural forms of magnesium, which is really the ideal, I want to just come back to my patient for a minute. So this young lady came in to see me with PMS, premenstrual syndrome, which was really cramping, tenderness. She had migraines, and she also had constipation. So which magnesium do you think I recommended for her? Go ahead, type in the chat, what do you think I recommended? So what I did is actually a combination with her. Because of the sluggish bowel, I gave her magnesium oxide to take at night. And that would also help the PMS, but most of it is helping with the constipation. I also then gave her the magnesium glycinate and citrate combination, which is easily absorbed and won't irritate the gut. I'll leave the magnesium oxide to do its magic. And within a matter of 3 weeks, her migraines and her PMS and her constipation were fully resolved. I also made some other minor changes. We spoke about proper hydration and how to do that in the best way. We spoke about healthy forms of exercise and healthy eating. The main supplement intervention was just with different forms of magnesiums at different times of the day to help with her natural circadian rhythms, the natural 24-hour cycles of her body. And she just felt amazing within a very short space of time. The intervention was simple. She could do it. It was well leveraged. One intervention solved 3 of her problems. That all being said, supplements are called supplements for a reason, right? They supplement, ideally, something else, our good, wholesome diet. So let me share with you some magnesium-rich foods that I take in my daily diet and I recommend for patients as well. And since over half of the people coming into my clinic and based on their stats and the hemanol analysis, are low in magnesium, it's always a good idea to get good sources in your diet, but occasionally also to add supplementation for specific reasons. So pumpkin seeds are a great form of magnesium, all sorts of nuts, specifically almonds and cashews, and almond butter is another easy way to get some almonds in your diet. Beans and legumes, things like black beans and aduki beans, which are easy to digest and rich in magnesium. Greens, all green vegetables, things like spinach and broccoli and kale are wonderful sources. Potatoes with the skin, a lot of people peel potatoes and discard the peel. The peel is the rich repository of magnesium. And then whole grains, like whole grain brown rice and oatmeal and barley, wheat, rye, spelt, and also the gluten-free grains like quinoa and buckwheat are also great sources. For those who do dairy products, that's another source, milk and yogurt. And of course, some wonderful vegetables and fruit like bananas, raisins, and avocados. Fish as well, things like salmon and halibut, and chicken and beef are also a good source of magnesium. So we basically, a quick summary, looked at a statistic that most people, half of people, are suffering from magnesium deficiency. Magnesium is involved in over 300 different enzymes in the body and reactions in the body, and many symptoms and diseases are related to magnesium's function, from cardiovascular issues, helping healthy DNA, prevention of Alzheimer's and dementia, diabetes type 2, many other conditions. So magnesium is definitely on the map for me as an individual. I get good dietary sources every day. It goes into my smoothie in the form of these foods in ground form. And I take a supplement at night as well to help with either, if I'm traveling, magnesium oxide or magnesium threonate to ensure deep restorative sleep. Thank you once again for joining me on Mind Body Monday. And just remember, Mind Body Monday is really all about where self-care is the heart of healthcare. All you need to do is take one small step in the direction of your health and well-being. I look forward to seeing you the next Mind Body Monday. Take care.